Not yet. I'm not ready.
You're not ready yet? Okay, that's fine. We can, What do you
Because
want to talk about then?
I have some. Look, I have questions.
You have questions. I'm ready.
The, we asked the tough questions here.
We do.
What is a chaise?
Like a chaise lounge.
Yes, apparently.
So it's a couch with one arm and then it's straight
Okay.
out.
All right. That's what a chaise is. Okay. I know what that
Yeah.
is. I don't know. I knew what it was, but I'm finishing up the third book, and they were
Yeah.
at some point in the book we're talking about chaises, lounging on chaises, and I'm like, I have no clue what that is. I have no idea.
You do though,
I'm
and that's yeah.
Well, I mean, I know what a like I know it now, but I never knew a chaise was a
Yeah.
armless, only a one-armed
Yeah.
sofa, essentially.
Yeah. It's
Okay. All right. No, that's good. Now we can get started. Yeah. Okay.
like that's like the very traditional. Some of them are like more of like a armchair with like the straight out
Right.
is also a
A
chaise,
chaise.
but I
Yeah.
like the one arm. I feel very Scarlett O'Hara on the Oh my goodness.
Oh, just like
Oh,
drop into it.
yeah,
All
exactly.
right. Well, okay, that's it. Thank you for watching Seasoned Readings.
That's it. We're gonna
We did it. That was
We
questions that
talked
were
about the
answered.
chef lounge,
My name is Ben,
and I'm Amanda.
and this is Seasoned Readings. We're talking about well, eventually talking about all things smutty, I suppose, but for now we're just talking about ACOTAR.
Yeah, we're
Um,
easing Ben in.
Easing me into the smut world,
Mhm.
as it would be
Yeah,
very
wait till.
easily, very easing into with the
Mhm.
ACOTAR. Although I will say I've finished the third ACOTAR book.
Look at you. I have
It pick
not.
it picks up
I
the
know.
amount
I
of
know.
smut. Yeah. Um, and I'm trying to figure out like how much I really want in a book because the second one was it was like okay, this is I see where this is going. This is escalating. The third one was like
Mhm.
okay, like this is happening. And like by halfway through the second one, I'm like, can we just get on with the story? Like I think
Right.
I get it. Like that's great. Like, but not every moment you guys are alone do you need to say something about how attractive you are to one another. You know what I mean?
I
Or what
mean,
or maybe if you're into that, okay, but
I
like
mean, it's not bad. I
no,
mean,
sure. Not
obviously,
terrible.
Feyre is a words of affirmation girly,
Okay.
so she needs to have Reese tell her all the time
How what he is going to do
beautiful
and
she is
how
and how
beautiful she
he
is.
cannot
Yes.
wait
Right.
till she's in his bed.
Right. Gotta say it.
Gotta say it. That's what she needs, man.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fine. Everybody's got their own thing. So that's
They're
fair.
dynamic.
Yeah. Which
And
those
it's an
books
unfinished series. I mean,
technically, yeah, that's true.
mhm.
All three of them, right? Or no, Throne is
Throne of the
finished,
Steel is finished.
and
That's the
then
only finished one.
Crescent and then Court are not
Not.
finished. Gotcha.
Mhm.
But we're talking about a Court of Thorns and Roses, the first
They
one.
are.
We
They are.
are, and
Finally getting into the action.
finally getting to the end, and I can't remember where we left off. Again, still cannot
Okay.
remember. I
Well,
remember
so Alice
we
begrudgingly, I think
begrudge.
this was Alice's plan the entire time.
You don't want to
Told her she
go
would.
there. Whatever you do, don't
Correct,
do
correct.
it.
Alice is smarter than we're letting on.
Definitely don't make bargains.
Don't
Uh,
go under the mountain.
don't go
Yeah.
into the mountain.
Yeah. So we're finally going under the mountain, guys.
Finally getting there to the place where Amarantha exists and stuff happens,
Hmm.
a place of nightmares or whatever. Did we leave off with them having left or
So the last thing we did finish chapter 32. So the last thing that it said is that basically Alice studied me for a moment before her eyes softened, as you wish, because she was insisting on being taken to Amarantha.
right? Okay.
So
Which like the next chapter is basically like them traveling to
this is the
get there.
travel.
Which is actually, if I remember correctly, it's actually a really short chapter for
It
how
is.
long it takes. Because I'm pretty sure it's like taking quite a few days for them to actually get there.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's literally 5 pages.
yeah, okay.
Like
Yeah,
it's a 5 page chapter, at least in this edition
sure.
of the book.
Was that
Soft cover.
soft cover?
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
kind of the one that you're going to see in any bookstore right now. So
yeah, especially since Um, is it Mass or Moss? I always want to say Moss, but is it Mass?
I
SJM. We'll go with that.
we'll just yeah, I think we just initial her
Sure.
because I
SJM.
think I've heard it both ways if I'm honest. Anyway, so they're setting off. They've
Yes.
has packed stuff. Unfortunately, there were no ash arrows for her to take with her. She's got a full, but she did have a full quiver, daggers, a bow slung over her shoulder, and they are walking through the woods and the foothills every so often to listen. Alice is listening for something, but it doesn't seem like Favor really knows like what we're waiting for.
Well,
Um,
it comes back to this the thing that boggles my mind is that this young woman who has very little knowledge of the world,
mhm,
even less so for the fairy world, and
mhm,
is somehow going to walk into this place and demand her boyfriend back, essentially.
correct. Right.
But
Well, he's
hey,
not even her boyfriend. I mean, they haven't
well,
made it
sure,
official. They're not
right?
Facebook official yet, Ben.
No, they just kind of one and done kind of a
They kind of
thing.
had sex one time and
And then he like shoved her out of that house.
yeah, and sent her away. Bye.
This dude, this Timmy Tam, man.
He's
Okay. Anyway,
fine.
but this dude,
He's a wet sandwich.
I have a friend who would gag at this at the thought of like
A wet sandwich.
wet bread, just in
Wet bread.
general.
Oh, so
And
they
what
don't like stuffing, huh? They're not like a dressing
I
person.
don't know. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
But side note, just an anecdote here. One of my other friends wanted to shoot a movie
Hmm.
and he the part that my friend with the gag reflex the part he had to do was where he had to act like he was biting somebody's flesh off
Okay.
and what they used was a wet piece of bread and, he manned up he
He
did it
got through it, huh?
and right after the scene he spits that thing out and just starts just like almost heaving and it was
Oh.
anyway wet
Well,
Wonder
I think
Bread
they used melty string cheese in the scene where Edward rips off like James's ear in the first movie.
really
It was like string cheese that they had got all melty
melted
so they he could, Well, and like in Game of Thrones, I think the heart that they have Daenerys eat, that's supposed to
Mhm.
be the horse heart, was like a gelatin.
That doesn't sound any better. Like a
No.
thick jelly, like
Mm-hmm.
sounds like it's hard. Yeah, it sounds like it'd be as hard as it would be to eat a whole
An
horse
actual
heart.
heart, yeah.
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 Anyway, yeah. So she's determined, and they're
Yes.
trudging through the forest,
Hmm.
making their way. Alice has a way to
Yeah,
get there.
she's working through,
Uh-huh.
stopping occasionally, redirecting as needed. I don't know what we don't really ever know what she's listening for, but I'm going to assume it's probably like Amarantha has somebody.
Scouts or something.
Yeah, so
She's
there's
being
people probably
cautious.
patrolling.
Just
Yeah,
being cautious, sure.
correct.
Um, and yeah, so they start to talk.
Hmm.
When they come to
A cave.
a cave.
Hmm.
Um, and she leaves her with some rules.
Yes.
Don't feed them after midnight.
Right.
Don't get
Don't get them
them
wet.
wet. There's the
Keep
third
them out of
one.
bright lights.
Keep them out of bright lights, yeah.
Yeah.
Which just like gremlins,
Yeah.
all those things happen.
It's true though. Don't drink the wine.
Right. Don't
Don't
drink the
make deals
wine.
with anyone unless your life depends on it.
This is a matter of life and death. And
And
don't something show up
even
on your
then, consider what it's worth.
right.
And most of all, don't trust a soul in there, not even Tamlin.
Don't trust your senses. Don't trust anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she also hints at there it is. I saw it.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's
it's
the
a
balloon.
gesture.
Is it whenever you do this that
I think that
happens?
was
But that's
probably.
not, I don't
I don't know.
know.
I don't
It's
know. Whoa!
we're too easily distracted.
We really are. It's bad.
Uh yeah. She tells us there's something more about the curse. But still can't tell her about. Um
Well, yeah. So
Oh,
basically, because Alice is like, "Oh, do you have a plan?" And she's like, "Nope." Don't
I've made
expect
it
the
this far.
seal to do you any good. She warns her.
Yeah.
And there was one part of the curse, one part we can't tell you even now. My bones are crying out just for mentioning it. One part you have to figure out on your own. One part she and cannot,
Say
but she just
anymore.
doesn't want you to know. There's another part of the curse that we don't know about. But keep
She
your
says,
ears open
yeah,
and listen, is what she said.
listen to what you hear.
Mhm.
Um, so they enter the shortcut.
Yes.
Um, and
I mean, yeah, they bid their goodbyes.
Farah
Alice, yeah.
Farah turns to Alice. Alice tells and she tells Alice to, leave her,
Yep.
go take your nephews.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she tells her to find her family
Mm-hmm.
if they do need shelter, which is
Yeah.
a terrible idea. Where you going, Kitty?
Yeah. Yeah. Basically she tells her, thank you for bringing me. Um, Alice, of course, in her Alice, ever endearing Alice manner, is like, it's a rare day when someone thanks you for bringing them to their death.
Yeah,
Um,
good old
I'll wish
Alice.
you luck, though, nonetheless, Alice said. And then Feyre insists that once you retrieve your nephews, if you need somewhere to flee, go over the wall and go to my family. Ask for Nesta, my eldest sister. She knows who you are, knows everything, and she will shelter you any way she can. Alice pats her hand, says, stay alive, and she walks into the cave.
Mm.
Mm.
She starts making her way through it. They make it sound like it's almost pitch black. Does she
Yeah.
light like a torch or something? And Kitty,
No,
okay,
she kind of just, it says, the
do you
only sound for
mind?
my shallow brain. Miss Nova, do
Shoot,
you have thoughts?
don't mess with that. Oh God, here we go. Oh, there goes the lighting. No, please don't. Please don't do that. Stop. Shoot. I should have locked the door. Go. Go. Okay. Back on. We're back on track.
All right, Miss Nova. Thank you for your OnlyFans appearance.
Yeah. They didn't pay enough for this.
They
Not
didn't.
yet. Hold on.
Right. So yeah, it is. It is frigid, dark. Um, she says she keeps close to the wall. Um, and then her hand turned numb because of how cold the stone and stuff is.
Mhm.
And she just kind of is taking small steps, walking along the wall. And then there was a voice, or voices, hissing and braying, eloquent guttural, a cacophony of, I love this line, a cacophony bursting the silence like a firecracker.
Hmm.
Um,
Also, can we talk about the word cacophony real quick?
I love that word. It's such a good word.
It should be pronounced cacophony. Just saying. I'm just saying. I know how it's supposed to be pronounced, cacophony, but it's not
It
right.
is, yeah, cacophony.
Cacophony. Cacophony is way better. All right.
It is way more fun.
It's like
Oh,
I'm just saying, I'm just pointing that out.
yes, a
World,
cacophony
make the
bursting the
change. Make the
silence.
right, make the change. We can do it together.
It's one of those words though, like that has some like onomatopoeia to it.
Yes.
Cacophony. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Because it's
and
like
there's
reminiscent of
gravitas.
yeah, like reminiscent of like a symphony or like an
Mhm.
orchestra, like like in the word itself. So
Yes, the way it flows and it's pronounced, it has
like
this like,
gotta be Latin. It's gotta be Latin, like
oh, I'm
a bunch of
sure.
Latin in there that's just similar to like what you doing? Anyway, so yeah, she starts making her way through this to the sounds,
Yeah, there's light now finally for the first time.
and she comes face to face with
Who does she face to face with?
the Ator.
The adder, yeah.
The Adder.
Mhm.
Yeah, and of course it's the Adder because
Why wouldn't it be?
right.
Hello, it hissed.
I forgot to talk to her.
Yeah,
Actually, I kind of
it
forgot.
grabs her arm.
I forgot it talks at all, to be honest. But anyway,
Correct. Yeah, the halls are silent. The voices heard like so she hears all this and then everything goes silent. And she's going. She's trying to keep moving. And that's when the long bony fingers wrapped around her arm and the pointed, leathery gray face came into view, and its silver fangs glistened as it smiled. Hello. What's something like you doing here?
Oh, I was looking for you.
Oh my God, it was almost that. Just a lot more ominous and not as good.
Yeah, yeah. I've been looking for you. Stay with the ACOTAR.
Mhm.
That's a whole different story that never got written. Just putting that out there.
It got written. It's
Oh, it did.
probably on archive of our own.
And there it was, the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen.
The adder
The adder.
with its long bony fingers,
Mhm.
pointed leathery gray face.
I knew. I knew then. I felt it snap into place.
There it is.
Mhm. I like it.
Yep. Yep. All right. Then
So that,
that's the
yep.
end of the chapter.
Chapter 34 is next.
Yep.
And he or they, I don't really, Ador is
It.
dragging them
Yeah.
through. Yeah, is dragging them through just basically all the stuff that she was hearing, just like
Yeah.
monsters, just like
Mhm.
fae of all different kinds, and just she's just like freaking out from everything that she's seen.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's even like screams or something going on. I don't remember exactly, but
Yeah.
something along those lines. And and they take her all the way
To the throne
to
room.
the throne room where it
Mhm.
is popping off, man.
It is popping off.
I want to go to the throne
Well,
room.
and
It
I
sounds
like
like it's happening.
it's giving we strode through two ancient, enormous stone doors. It is giving Moria.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that, but sure, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's giving the mines of Moria.
Because you're under the mountain,
Mhm.
like everything's like carved from
Yeah.
the stone itself.
Carvings and
Well, for the
very
most part.
ornate. Yeah. Ornate designs. And then, like, based off of how we never see Moria the way it's been just is described to us, but at one point it would have been popping off
Oh, sure,
just like
yeah,
this.
yeah. Just like the party's always happening, you know. Like everyone's
Correct.
like so freaking out about like under the mountain. It's like I don't know. Like sounds like maybe it
It might be nice.
could have been kind of fun. I mean, like
I
if I
mean,
was Faye, what's that?
to visit, and
To
then
visit.
leave.
Just like vacation there for a little while, like an
Right. Like
Airbnb, one of the
it sounds
rooms.
like all inclusive. So
Right. I could see the
like
Airbnb now. Like, like uh,
for the
sometimes you'll
low,
hear
low price of two fairy souls, you can stay at this all inclusive resort under the
this
mountain.
screaming is normal. Must appreciate the pets,
Yeah. Yeah.
lots of pets.
Lots of pets,
Lots of pets
all of all different kinds.
of all
Very
different.
pet friendly.
Very, no humans.
No humans.
But it's like scratched out and it says, please humans, like underneath,
Please.
like
Yeah,
more
please.
and more humans. Anyway.
More.
Um,
But yeah, there's off kilter music, some milling about, chatting, a party of sorts. She is pretty sure she saw glittering masks among the attendees, but everything was a blur of sharp teeth and fine clothing as the adder threw her forward and the world is spinning. Like he is just she, it, they, the adder.
so let me like I want to paint my picture at this
Paint
point,
your
like what
picture.
I see. Like I just like okay, so
Okay.
like I'm thinking like surely you've seen The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where Keanu Reeves goes to the club to follow the White
And
Rabbit,
follows the white
and
rabbit. Yeah.
it's thumping, and like it's almost like this drum and bass techno slash just like industrial music, just like somebody's hitting like a saw blade or
Boots and cats
something.
and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats.
Yeah, it's there. Like
There it
just
is.
there it is.
Or like the vampire rave at the beginning of Blade without the
Yeah, oh
blood.
yes. Yeah, except instead of like a like white porcelain like meat butcher shop, it's just like dark granite everywhere and
Cold
just
marble.
yeah,
Yeah.
cold marble and just like
Mhm.
and everyone's just but no one's like really dancing hard. They're just like
We're there. We're here.
yeah, like we're
We're
doing it. Like but everyone's like super posh. Like it's some like uptight like models club thing. That's
right.
how like that's how I imagine it. It's just everyone's just kind of like grooving a little bit. Like I don't know who's on those drums, but they're really good.
Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
really they can hit that drum really hard. Like, good for them. That's what I imagine here. And she's just like being like she's being dragged through this
Yeah.
party, thrown on the floor in front of Amarantha, our mystery woman here for so long.
Yeah.
And who was well, I mean, I don't remember how she. I mean, she figures it out because, of course, it's like a big dark throne. You got a description of the
So yes,
throne?
yes, I do. I have this.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
she slams into the cold marble floor, her bones groaning and barking. She
Hmm.
pushes herself up and sees a couple of steps leading onto a platform. As she looks up those steps up onto the platform, there is this black throne, and lounging in it is Amarantha.
Lounging.
Though lovely, she isn't devastatingly beautiful.
No, I like how she points that out.
Yeah, she was. I wasn't some goddess of darkness and spite, but it made her all the more petrifying with her red gold hair, neatly braided and woven through her golden crown, the deep color enriching her snow white skin, which in turn set off her ruby lips. But while her ebony eyes shone, there was something that sucked at her beauty, some kind of permanent sneer to her features that made her allure even more seem contrived and cold. There she is in all her glory. So, okay, I do want to
I
pay attention to her hair because I
okay.
think I've seen that it changes
Really? Okay.
because she says it's red gold.
All right.
And then I think later it's like fire engine red.
Like based on her attitude or like what she's got going on or just for whatever.
For whatever reason, the descriptor
All
changes.
right. So I have this crazy theory
Okay.
about like SJM and why she wrote this, but I'm not gonna get into it yet. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do it yet. It is some cockamamie conspiracy stuff that
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking something's going on.
You're thinking something?
I'm thinking that some of this reflects her like real life a little bit, which I mean writers do
Oh,
all the time, which isn't anything new.
yeah.
But I don't know. We'll get to it later
Okay.
because I
I'm
have some
curious.
thoughts.
You've piqued my interest. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe at the
I'm
end of this.
intrigued.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
so
there she is lounging in the black throne. And then next to her is Tamlin.
there he
No claws,
is.
no fangs. He just stared at me, unfeeling, unmoved, unimpressed.
Yep.
How sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. At this point, I was like, maybe I'd already heard enough about the book, but I read this part, and
Mm-hmm.
also like, people are like, oh, it's not so bad at this point. It's kind of like, okay, I get it. He's trying to like protect his emotions and try and make it look
Yeah.
like she's
Yeah.
not who she is or whatever.
Right. Like
But
he doesn't want to
also,
show any weakness.
right. But also, like, suppose you love her so much that you're just not gonna do anything. You're not like gonna grab her and run
Mm.
or I don't know, try and fight back or plead with Amarantha. Anything? Nope, no, nothing, nothing. I think Amarantha at this point goes on to um, in the summary I'm reading, it also
Yes.
points out that she notices that Amarantha is wearing a finger on a necklace, a finger
Hmm.
bone, or is it a finger or a finger bone?
Age, let's see. So, let's see. Her slender, creamy neck hung long and thin chin, a
Hmm.
single age-worn bone the size of a finger.
Okay, so a finger.
I did not
Um,
want to consider whom it might belong to.
smart, smart. And then she's also wearing a ring
Mhm.
with fucking eye on it,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
whirling eye, looking around,
Hmm.
looking at stuff. I think it's like encased in like crystal or like a glass
Yeah.
or something. But either way, she's got an eye on a ring.
Yeah. She doesn't mention it here, but it will come in later.
Yeah.
Um, in the description. But yeah, so like there's a finger bone and she's got this ring with this eye in it. Mad Eye Moody's eye. Like
Just
Dolores
like,
Umbridge, man.
what's that?
Wait, she remember she put Mad Eye's eye on her office
Mantle.
and no,
Oh,
it was in on the office door.
I forgot about that.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Uh, that series did some dark stuff.
stuff, man.
Some
It did some
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway.
Hmm. Yeah. So, what's this? Is Amarantha's greeting to her?
Like why you harshing
What
our
are you?
vibe,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And the adder's like, oh, just this human thing I found. I just,
Just
well,
just found
obviously, but why am I being
it.
bothered by her presence here? I love that. See, like
Yeah.
this is one of those like I'm kind of Amarantha makes me excited to see this adapted
Hmm.
because like just like off the top of my head, think like a Bryce Dallas Howard.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do. She was in The Village. She takes over as Victoria in a later movie. Um, she's Ron Howard's daughter.
Let me just look it up real quick. What's her name?
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes, okay. I do
So
know who
think
this
of
is.
her
Okay.
and just fuck Jack Nicholson Joker chewing up this scenery. Obviously, it's a human, but why are this,
Yeah, like, but why are you
but
bringing it
why is
here?
she here? Why did you bring her here? Like, this is what I'm picturing.
Okay, I like this. I like this a lot.
Because, like, she's gonna, but it's like, if you're gonna adapt this, you gotta get a good name for her
Mhm.
because she's really gonna be only in the last few episodes of the show. Like,
But Amarantha is a good, you think Amarantha?
oh, I think she's a great character. I think she's fascinating.
Okay. I mean,
But I also like a villain,
yeah.
and I like a villain with depth. And this is a villain with depth. Like she's not just bad to be bad. Like she
Sure,
got
well,
reasons.
let's continue. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's keep going. So yeah, they ask, they get to it. They kind of like why, trying to figure out why she's here. I
Mm-hmm.
think the adder even just like stomps on her or something, or like
Yeah, he's just like telling you tell her why,
tell her why what are you
like why
doing
are you
here?
here? Why are you here? Because they're like you, and then they do say that she came from the old cave that leads to the spring court. So they know she's coming from the spring court.
Yeah,
Um, they tell, they're like, yeah, he's kicked at her. He's kicking her in the ribs, trying to get her to say why
just like
she's there. And
yeah,
finally, she says, I came to claim the one I love.
Tamlin.
Oh, Amarantha says, leaning forward. I've come to claim Tamlin, High Lord of the Spring Court.
Could you
As a
imagine?
gasp ripples through the crowd.
Right. Because like, okay, I'm gonna tell you right now why this doesn't work for me.
No?
At that point, why is she just like, oh, kill her, take her away? Like, I get that Amarantha's like, oh, let's toy with her a little bit. Let's make this
Oh yeah, no,
fun.
we're this is she's doing her best. Like honestly, the way she's lounging in this throne also. I imagine Jareth in the throne of the
Jareth.
labyrinth. Yeah,
Oh gosh, I
David
forgot.
Bowie
Yeah, okay.
laying there with surrounded by the goblins and and he's
Just like
laying there
bored,
feet.
just
Oh,
bored,
bored. She is
bored.
bored by all of this. And so she's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, this is interesting.
Hmm.
Oh, let's play a game."
Right. And so, yeah. So, like, Tamlin still shows no reaction, act like it didn't happen.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
no. Face is impassive. Um,
and Amarantha basically comes to ask, like, okay, well, yeah, seeing what's going on and seeing like the audacity, it's kind of
correct. Yeah.
like, like, why I just shouldn't I just kill you? Like I'm saying, just be done with this.
Yeah,
And I think
give me one reason why I shouldn't destroy you where you stand, human.
what does she say? What is the answer?
Um,
Does she even say?
my blood pounded in my veins, but I kept my chin high as I said, you tricked him. He is bound unfairly.
Mm.
And this is when she mentions the eye encased in crystal on her ring. You human beasts are uncreative. I love, see, this is the stuff I love about
Okay.
her.
All right. All right.
We spent years teaching you poetry and fine speech, and that is all you can come up with. The shade.
It's just putting her in her place.
Oh yeah, I should rip out your tongue for letting it go to waste.
Mhm.
Like it is so like she is so cruel, but it's so cool and cold.
Right.
Like I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know.
It's good.
I thought she was all right, but I still had problems warming up to. I think it wasn't necessarily Amarantha. I just had trouble warming up to this whole situation
Yeah. Yeah, no,
because
it's a
it's
bad
like,
situation.
man, well, no, it's not that. No, no, not that. I mean, it's the fact that like, whatever.
Right.
It's the fact that Feyre is gonna walk right into this place,
Mhm.
somehow manage to make it through, like with no plan whatsoever, assuming that she's gonna what sneak through this place of fairies, try and find Tamlin,
I
and
don't
then
think
she
she gave
captured.
any thought. I mean,
Well, yeah, she's not. She's just
she's giving
doing.
zero thought to this. She's just like, I have to go into the mountain. That's what
Yeah,
I know. I need
yeah.
to go for Tamlin. And well, I got caught sooner than I was hoping.
Like, how does she
So
not
here I
just
am.
die in the first 5 seconds from the ad? You know what I mean? Like surrounded by all these creatures that are like ready to eat humans. I'm sure. And it's like I don't know.
I mean, obviously, they're because we know the
Suspension.
adder can speak, we know it's
Sure.
an intelligence. So I think it's safe to assume that there are probably certain orders
Yeah, I guess.
that have been given, considering that, like, she mentions in the previous chapter that the cave that she goes through to get there is the one that basically Lucian told the adder you're never to come back through. So it's one of those where it's like, oh, this is interesting. We've already went and raided the spring court, and yet here comes this human through this
Right.
cave from the spring court. So like when you look at it from that situation,
Okay. Yeah, it's like
maybe if it was anywhere else, the adder's probably just eaten her.
sure. Or
But
maybe, yeah,
because you're coming from the direction of the spring court,
the place that's supposed to be abandoned and emptied. Like what's going
mm-hmm.
on? All right, I'll
Yeah,
buy it. I'll buy it. Sure.
yeah, and so that's why, and then now we've brought forward only now to be like, oh, okay, now we're the pieces are going to start to fall together here because now we're at this point where like her and Amarantha are having this interaction,
Yeah.
and then they're going to kind of they're going back and forth, and that's when she sees the
The body of
corpse of a young woman,
uh-huh. And Amarantha
mangled
tells us,
corpse.
yeah, not just like mangled, but like brutalized, like
Yeah,
limbs.
skin
I
was
think
burned in places, fingers bent at odd angles, garish red lines crisscrossed her naked body, and she is naked, like she is. This is like a rough. This is not just Ned Stark's head on a spike.
no, it's like torture to its to the nth
Yeah.
degree, like
Mm-hmm.
forcing her to cling to life as they do the worst things, kind of a stuff situation.
Yeah, and then how coolly Amarantha's just kind of like, oh, I guess I should have listened to her when she said that she'd never seen Tamlin before.
Right. And
And
but we
that's
do
is
find
when
out
she's seeing like, oh, this is Claire.
mhm, Claire
Mm-hmm.
better. Um,
Yeah.
and it
After
kind
they
of
burned
goes,
her family alive in a house, like Feyre is reminded of.
yeah, yeah. So this is the girl that she had given the name of
Mm-hmm.
when Rysand
Yes.
was kind of in her mind, and or well, was probing her and trying to get information out of her, and she's like, "Oh man, I fucked it
Oh, well, and
up."
then again, this is why I like Amarantha because she is very cruel, very cold because
Yeah,
she looks at Feyre directly and says, "I should thank you for giving Rysand her name instead of yours." Like that was so much fun. Thank you so
thank you.
much.
That's very nice of you.
Her screaming was delightful.
Mm,
Like, oh, you are, oh,
yeah,
like I want to pop you one.
I
Like you
just want
hate
to.
her.
Mm, mm,
Right. Right. As much as I'm
stop.
not even really on Feyre's side,
Right?
I am so anti Amarantha.
Just like
Like,
fine. You're just
mm-hmm.
like better by association. So yeah, so we find out that what happened to Claire.
Yep.
Um, and they kind of go back and forth for a while. And Tamlin's
Mm-hmm.
claimed to never have seen Farah before, but
Yep.
Amarantha knows that's BS.
It's yeah.
Like I'm not buying that. I know. She's like, I know stuff's been going down. I know what you've been
Mm-hmm.
doing, Tam. Um, and
This is when
somehow they,
she mentions she talks to the ring. She talks to the ring and says, I know you would appreciate this, Jurian. And she looks down at so now Feyre has confirmed that she's wearing Jurian's finger bone on her neck and his
mhm,
eye in a crystal as a ring.
on a ring.
Yeah.
And uh and yeah, and then somehow they get into I think she might even ask her again, like, why shouldn't I just kill you? Like, what or like or something about torturing her or something, and
Yeah, she
then
kind of is like, well, it's been boring since Claire decided to go and die. So killing you outright would just be boring.
boring.
So we need to have some fun.
And then Farah, I think, interjects and is like something like, "You're not going to do that because
Yeah.
you're gonna make I can't remember how she put it, but it was basically like wants to make a deal with her or
I want his
something.
curse broken. Yeah, basically. Yeah. I'll make a bargain with you, human, is what Amarantha says. Um, you complete 3 tasks of my choosing,
Like,
3 tasks to
what's
prove how
that
deep
about?
that human sense of loyalty and love runs, and Tamlin is yours. Just 3 little challenges to prove your dedication, to prove to me, to darling Jurian, that you can indeed love true, and that then you can have your High Lord.
Hmm. Just like
Um,
that, 3 simple tasks.
that's it, 3 simple. And that's when Feyre blurts out and says, I want his curse broken too. I will complete your task. His curse is broken, and we and all of his court can leave here and remain free forever. Because she's trying to be specific, because she knows magic is specific.
Magic, because yeah, Alice tells her, like it likes the details.
Correct. And she's like, and that's how Amarantha tricked them, was by the
That is,
details.
yep.
So she's
So
not trying, she's trying to cover up all of her whole, like,
you might say that she Amarantha likes to play unfaira.
all right, guys, this is the end of season readings. This is our last episode. We're never going to record again for that.
It's pretty
Fine,
good.
Ben.
It's
That
pretty
was
good.
that was bad. I I'm mad.
I really wish I had my sunglasses for that. I was gonna like switch out and put sunglasses on, but I don't have them with me.
Well, what a moment, guys. What a moment.
I'm surprised I don't make that joke in the book. It's right there. It's plain as day. It's super easy. Come
Because
on.
even Sarah J. Maas has standards.
Her loss is all I'm gonna
That
say.
was so bad. Have you said this to your wife?
No, God, no.
Oh, you should say
I'd
it
be
to your wife
ridiculed.
because I want to see what
Sh-
that's
she'll find out. I'll be ridiculed for days, I'm sure.
true.
So,
It's true. She'll watch the episode.
right. Yeah. And then I'll hear it.
Hmm. So,
So yeah, three trials.
mhm.
And then she even throws in a little extra.
Yes, she does.
Um,
She says that she's adding another element. I'll give you a way out, girl. She wanted. You'll complete all the tasks, or when you can't stand it anymore, all you have to do is answer one question,
one riddle, if you
a
would.
riddle. You solve the riddle, and his curse will be broken instantaneously. I won't even need to lift my finger, and he'll be free. Say the right answer, and he's yours. And you can answer it at any time, but if you answer incorrectly,
It,
that's,
yeah.
you fail a test, there won't be anything left of you for me to play with.
Nah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So now somehow this young woman managed to make deals with the.
Well, and the deals continue because in the meantime,
Oh yes, I forgot about this part.
because she starts asking her, she's like, what's the nature of these tasks?
Right.
Revealing that would take all the fun out of it. But I will tell you, you'll have one task every month at the full moon. And in the meantime, she's, kind of like, what am I supposed to do in the meantime? And Amarantha tells her, you shall remain in your cell or do whatever additional work I require. If
Like making your keep, basically.
Yeah, nothing beyond basic housework. So you're not going to be running you ragged. So you would be at a disadvantage. So nothing beyond basic housework. just to earn your keep. And then we are agreed. And
Like
so,
why? Like how could you not see this coming?
yep.
Like
Well,
this is
and
so dumb, but
it's so
okay,
dumb.
so
And
dumb.
then
She
she
agrees.
confirms. Well, she confirms before the full
Yeah, right,
agreement.
right, right.
If I complete your 3 tasks or solve your riddle, you'll do as I request. Of course. Is it agreed? And she ponders about it for a little while and she agrees. And that's it.
Come on. Like seriously, like you really thought this was gonna go your way. You really
100%
thought
she
like
absolutely thought she might be able to outwit her.
I mean, like all you had to be was like, okay, but like, like, how are you gonna treat me? Are you gonna
Mm-hmm.
treat me all right? You're gonna treat me well?
Yep.
Like I like saw this coming and it's like, man, I don't know. This was dumb. I did not like this at all. Didn't like it. I thought this was a dumb part of the book. But anyway,
And then
almost immediately,
they get she's the shit beat out of her.
yes, because of course she does, because she made a
Mhm.
stupid fucking deal with the
Give give her a greeting worthy of my hall.
and she gets then basically I don't know, it's just the adder or is it like a bunch of people? I
The
can't
adder
remember.
hisses,
And just
and
like
that was
kicks
my
her.
only warning as something rock hard collided with my jaw. I was thrown sideways, stunned by pain, legs twisted, and then the adder's leathery skin grated against my cheek as it punched me again. No, it's just the adder is just
It's just the
beating
adder.
the shit out of her. A
Like
crunch
how
and a crack. I became their punching bag, passed off from blow to blow, my bones screaming. So then a bunch of people joined in. It
jumped it,
started as
yeah.
just the adder and then lesser fair,
Just like how did you not see that coming?
Correct.
Like Alice just got in. This is so this just keeps going back to Farah's like behavior and attitude is just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like don't ask questions. I'm just gonna do this thing and just like I don't anyway. It's like okay, sure. Okay, so she gets her ass kicked for a while
Yep.
and they
And
end up
then that's
dragging her
it.
bloody
That's
mess to the end
the
of
end. That's the
the
end of the
okay, yeah.
chapter. Is literally she blood sprays from her mouth and it's a metallic tang coated my tongue before I knew no more.
Yeah.
So she like
So
passes out. Like she
yeah,
gets
she's done
she's that's it.
because because of course.
Mm-hmm.
Because of Feyre doing Feyre again.
Yes.
Uh, Next chapter, chapter 35, she does
Mm-hmm.
wake up in her cell,
Yep.
just like writhing and just pain and just
Pain.
like
Mm-hmm.
just in the worst shape,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Where she will, I think she's already convinced that she's like not going to be able to live like this, essentially.
Let's see. Yeah, she's in the dungeon. Slants of light crept in through the cracks between the door and the wall. It ached worse than anything. Everything was broken. Her nose was broken. She clenched her teeth. Had my jaw not been throbbing mess of agony too. Like she was like so everything is just
So let me say this. Let me say
Mhm.
this. Let me get look. SJM. I have a suggestion, advice.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I would have found this a lot more believable if it was like, if Pharaoh fought back a little bit. Because the
Mm-hmm.
fact that she was just like, okay, like, yeah, I agree. That sounds okay. Yeah, what could go wrong? The fact that she like thought that was just like the dumbest thing. Like, no, you
But I
got it.
get
She
it.
needed
Like they did kind of take her off, but like she was like because Amarantha had said
mhm,
just killing you right now would be
would be
boring.
right. Yeah, I get, yeah, sure. But like you still like, but if you're bargaining, like I mean, like I don't care if it's for a TV or refrigerator at like appliance center, you still when you're bartering, you gotta push back or you gotta give, you gotta gain some kind of leverage.
Mhm.
Not just roll over and be like, all right, yeah, this I can't see how this could possibly go wrong and get your ass kicked.
This is 100%
This is
Feyre,
Feyre,
though.
for sure. Oh
This
yeah.
is who she is. Like she always does this.
And this is
It's
why the
not
main character,
unusual.
right, and this is why the main character of the book is not that good. Or well, not the worst, but
She's not great.
not great. Like
Not great.
in my head, like to Fridvin have more believable and like somewhere else is like her trying to leverage more like well, how are you going to treat me? Or like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you can't just treat me like garbage, or you can treat me like a prisoner. Like she was so worried and concerned about when she went to the spring court, but now suddenly not concerned. Um, if she was like, well, you have to treat me better than a
Yeah.
prisoner. She's like, and then Amaranth had been like, oh, well, I'll treat you like I do lesser, like other Fae. Like, that's no problem. I'll treat you like other Fae. And then she gets her ass kicked and thrown in the dungeon because that seems like something Amarantha would do. Just like,
Yeah.
treat basically anybody she wants like a shit pawn. So like I would have been more I found that more believable if she was like trying to leverage that, like treat me like one of your servants, or you know what I mean? Like treat me
Yeah.
like because then because then she still would have been getting her ass kicked, but at least like she tried to leverage something out of that
I mean, I
bargain.
think she, yeah, I mean, I think she was just so single mindedly focused on breaking Tamlin's curse and getting him out of there. Like, I
Sure.
think that's all, like, she is just, that is where her focus is. So she's not thinking, like, she's thinking they're going to start right then and there.
Right.
And then Amaranth is like, oh no, we'll see at the full moon.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
like, hold on.
She's like, I'm sorry, what? And then
Right.
yeah, get her ass kicked. Yeah,
And then, yeah.
I think I would have found the
And then
scene a
where
lot
she
more.
gets sucker punched, she legit gets sucker
Oh
punched.
no, yeah, like just gets her ass kicked, just
Uh-huh.
outright without warning.
Uh-huh.
I just would have found the whole thing a lot more believable if it was just like some more back and forth of her trying to leverage her
Yeah.
situation better, or just because like at this point you're like she's grown. Like this is a character who has supposedly anyway grown and
Grown.
become grown and become smarter after all the stupid shit she's done, and like learned about magic and learned enough, just enough to get that advantage. And maybe, or at least feel like she had an advantage, even though she
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have, but at
Mhm.
least like tried. And instead, she's just like, oh, yeah, okay, this sounds okay. I don't see any arguments here. Like, this sounds fine. Like, no,
Yeah.
no. The big baddie just tried to offer you something and you just rolled over on the deal. Come on.
She
You
did.
had to know this was going to go poorly.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, she wakes up in in a prison cell and it's a shithole. Go figure.
Of course. Screaming
Um, yep, as you
sounds
would
of
think a dungeon would be
correct. So there's some back and forth of her kind of dozing in and out, talking about just like how she'd broken Alice's rules and she's just all the
already,
things. Yep.
already broke House's
Right.
rules.
Because she doesn't listen.
No.
She doesn't listen.
Uh, okay.
Like, come on now.
One
I
for
will
one.
when you're
Broken.
like 20 for 20.
Well, sure,
Like,
at this point.
she just
Like just like
I mean, I won't even walk into a fairy circle in my own front yard. I ain't taking no risks.
we know better.
I
We
know
don't know
better.
better. We don't know better. We still don't do that stuff because we're not stupid.
Well,
Oh,
I'm not, I am not, I don't have a welcome sign, like for a reason. I'm not inviting anything in.
it's just like I really hope there's no gambling in the Fey world because Farah is just gonna be like, or she would be like the worst.
There
She's
is
like,
gambling though.
is there really?
Did you forget about this? The conversation
Yes.
she's gonna have with Reese later about how he's put his money on her.
Oh no, that's right. I forgot about that.
Uh-huh.
Ah, she's in trouble if she ever
Yes,
can.
she is.
Just like engaging in every deal and every time somebody is like, "Hey, you want to take it back?" Yeah, yeah, I do.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds
Uh-huh.
good. What kind of odds do you want? I'm
She's
gonna
a
give you.
100% the character who is in debt to the loan shark. So she goes to another loan shark to get a
Yep.
loan to pay off the one.
Just without even like trying to compromise or make deals or just like and just continually making her situation worse and
Worse,
worse.
worse, and worse.
Anyway, let's keep going. Let's please keep going.
Well, Lucian does show up.
He does. Thank God.
Yep,
The
she's,
the third best character in this
it's true.
in this book
And
shows up.
immediately after she's like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" He then goes, "Have you lost your mind? What are you doing here?"
Yeah. And she says yes.
Mhm.
No, she doesn't, but she should because she probably has.
Um,
She insists that she loves Tamlin and I had to do something.
yep, yep. Alice
And
told me. She told me about the curse. I couldn't let Amarantha. You shouldn't have come. You, how foolish can you be? Lucian
you
gets it.
oh no, he does.
Uh-huh. And then basically she's just like, "Well, I'm here now, and there's nothing else.
Right, yeah.
That's it. Don't tell me I shouldn't be here. Too late. I'm already here."
I
Which
was
I do
gonna
appreciate from her. Like, I love that she's just kind of like, thank you for yelling at me and telling me I shouldn't be here, but I'm
But here
already
I am.
here.
Yeah, all right.
So like
Let's focus on the now, please.
right, like you can yell at me later for
Right.
coming here ever in the first place, but
Mm-hmm.
right now let's just get me out alive.
Yeah. And it's
Priorities, Lucian.
yes. Thank you, Lucian. Thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, Lucian, wherever
Yeah,
you are.
we do. It's true. We love you. But
Uh-huh.
like, bro, there's a time and a place.
And it's the bedroom.
But yeah, so he's working to heal her. He's starting to clean her up a little
Yeah.
bit, and
Ex
water and bandages, and he's got to set her bones so he can heal them properly.
right.
And so yep, he's setting her bones, he's healing them, does the nose, fixes that, like and she's kind of like, oh, I thought she'd taken most of your power. And he's like, she gave me a bit, back a fraction to entice Tamlin to accept her offer, but he still refuses her. So you're trapped in the mountain too? And he's like, yep. She
Yeah.
summoned all the High Lords to her now, and even those who swore obedience are now forbidden to leave until your trials are over.
Everybody gets to watch. This is the
Yeah.
highlight. Some fun.
And then they talk about the ring. Um, and she's like, Alice didn't say what happened after Jurian and Amarantha faced each other, and basically that they wrecked an entire battlefield using their soldiers as shields until their forces were nearly dead. Then she dragged him back to her camp and took weeks to torture and kill him. She refused orders to march to the King of Hybern's aid and cost him his armies in the war. She refused to do anything until Jurian was dead, basically.
Yeah.
And then she
Yeah.
cut his finger bone and eye.
So we learn a little bit about that backstory, which
Mm-hmm.
does come into kind of happens later, stuff with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's
Yeah.
foretelling a little bit, but of
And
like other stories to come.
then she's asked about Tamlin.
Before we move on to that though, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on this Jurian so far? Like, because like,
I don't have any thought. I mean,
well,
obviously, like,
yeah. There's not much
there's
to
not a lot
say.
to go off of. I mean, obviously, like, he did some really shitty things. I'm not at a point at this point negating anything that I know to come because I have read the second book and I am
Yeah,
starting the third.
yeah,
I negating everything that I to come, and literally just in this moment, all I know about this man is that he did some shitty things to somebody who truly loved him because he was trying to save the people.
right.
Like that was it. Like he's like just a
And
human man who's trying to save his world,
yeah,
and
and
unfortunately,
it ended badly for
he
him.
did some really nasty things
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the wrong
Uh,
person's sister.
yes. So
Like,
like, and so here's like the thing that like that gets me. Like, as soon as I hear the word human come into play in this,
yeah,
at this point in this book, I'm like, like what is this person going to do
right.
against any fairy, it seems. And it's like the idea of him somehow like torturing and all the stuff he did to Amarantha's sister or whatever that he did.
Well, but I think
Like
the thing that we need,
how?
because she loved him.
So she let
I
like, but
think
you're
she
gonna defend yourself,
I
right?
think the minute he I no, I think the minute he turned on her, I think that alone killed her, and that there was nothing more he could do to hurt her any worse than she was already hurting. The minute
Right.
he turned on her. Like I'm going to get really poetic and romantic about this, but I think because she loved him so much
She just let it happen.
that the minute he turned on her, she was never coming back from that. Even if she did like lived, she was not going to live. She was never coming back from that betrayal.
Right. So either this dude, so like,
She just had no will to why it kill me now, or I can just continue to suffer for eternity knowing that you
you,
tricked me.
right, and that your love's not real or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, so either
Which
this
is
dude's
tragic.
sure, yeah. So in other words, this dude has to be the biggest player like ever. I
Yeah.
mean, let's be honest, because
He's
you are
convincing. He's charismatic.
sh-
He's got some
he
skills
he
here.
must be because you are
Yeah.
convincing the biggest bad dude's uh daughter
Hmm.
who does not like humans
Hmm.
to be your boo.
Obviously, that Shakespeare does not exist within this universe because we should have known how the Romeo and Juliet story was going to go.
Right.
The
Should know from the
star-crossed
beginning.
lovers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
should have known.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
But like that's I think that's because it's very much like it is that Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. Is that like the minute she found out
Yeah.
that he died, she's like, I can't.
I can't live. I can't continue. I can't.
There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing worth. Even him. You're dead. I can't. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I can't even. I could.
There's
I could live in exile knowing you were still alive. But now I can't even do that because you're dead.
right. Yeah, I don't know. It just that like anytime I don't know. Because we keep hearing like humans and
Mhm. Well, and I think
we spent an entire book like talking about how badass fairies are, and it's like,
Well, and this is so long
I don't
ago though,
know.
but like so before the war, like they lived together, so like at this point though, we also have to remember they were so far removed that like what Feyre thinks she knows about fairies has now been lies that have been spread over the past 150 years, 200
Sure.
years.
Well, I just mean in general though, like like think about every fairy she's come into contact with, like
Yeah, the
Bogey,
bogey.
Bogey, Puka,
Yeah.
Naga,
Hmm.
Suriel.
Yeah, but she caught the Suriel.
She
She
did catch
killed
this.
two Naga.
This is true. However, the third one was likely to kill her. Like she got the jump on him, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. I still just have a hard time believing that. Like, I don't know.
I think when
For some reason it's not jiving in my brain. That like,
well, and I think it's kind of like I'm trying to like okay, like think of like like because humans we exist together with other creatures.
sure,
We know a lion can kill us if it swats at us.
sure, yes, lethal.
Like we know
Yep,
that we are capable of that, but we also know how to kill a lion back
true.
because we live in harmony with each other.
Right.
So then all of a sudden, because somebody gets a bug up their ass and decides we're gonna kill all the humans, you know what their weaknesses are going into this war. So you're gonna know ash arrows. You're gonna know how to fight your enemy because you lived amongst your enemy.
Alice has got bark for skin.
Yeah.
There's fairy with like with
She's
insect wings. Like
yeah.
just in my head, I just like
I mean, I
anytime
get it.
that
I know because like there were these magical beings and stuff, but like
yes,
while but we know that they have weakness. They are, it's a Superman and the kryptonite. Like
sure.
Ashwood will always kill a fairy.
Right, yes.
Iron's gonna do fuck all.
Right.
But Ashwood,
Yeah, I don't know. This we start finding about Jurian, and
yeah.
and my thought is it's like okay, like how important could a human character actually be that she's wearing? She's got a little necklace
Oh, that's just
and
I
a
think her petty. I
ring.
don't think this has anything to do with his importance. I think this has everything to do with her petty. She's like, it's her armor. This is Amarantha's armor.
All
It's one
right,
of
I
those things.
guess.
Do
Yeah,
not forget what I am willing to do.
right. It just put this guy in perpetual torment,
Yeah,
essentially. I suppose, yeah. I
it's a
just
good deterrent.
no, it is. I think it goes back further than Amarantha, maybe, and just like how he man, I don't know. I for whatever reason I had zero shits for Jurian. Like I'm like I don't care why is he important? Why is he so important that he has a ring with his eyeball in it? You know what I mean? Like
because he fucked
She's
over her
dropping.
sister. I mean, this is
Yeah,
revenge at its finest and
she's
the cruelest form of revenge.
man. That would be
I mean,
that
it's
would be bad.
raw.
That would be bad. Yeah, I guess like maybe I just wasn't buying into his importance at this part in the story. This story, you
Even
know.
though we know at this point, like that he tricked and killed her sister.
Yeah, I don't know,
I
but it
mean,
seems like this is so long ago. This is like 500 years ago or
it wasn't
something.
that long.
It wasn't? I thought it was like,
No, because if the war happened, and then within 50 years after the end of the war, she's is when she returns, saying that she's kind of come to make amends. She's really, really sorry, and then she's
so
now
it's only
ruled.
so it's only been like 100 years.
It's only I think it's been 100 probably 150 years since the whole thing with Jurian. I mean, we can Google.
No, no, I mean
I'm
that
curious. I mean, honestly, about
sounds,
what the timeline is. But I
yeah.
think it's only been like 150 years.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh yeah, here we go. So starts winter, December. Okay, so this one is apparently takes place over the course. No, this doesn't tell me what I want to know.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. These are my own hangups anyway.
No, but I think it's other people might have these. This is why I'm kind of like I feel like it's worth looking at a timeline to see like kind of like within like the Star Wars universe where
Right.
like how many years it's been, how everything in the Star Wars universe happens with based around what happened at the end of A New Hope.
Okay, you know what? I think I know what is bothering me about this
Okay.
character. Is it's trying to be it's like SJM is trying to make this character important
Yeah.
for later.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, I mean, at this point, I was like, I guess, because like, or maybe it was in a different book, or maybe it was like supposed to be a callback to a different book. I was, I didn't know because I'd never read
Mm-hmm.
the Throne books or something. But, um, and so like to me, it was a bit of why was I finding out about this character unless this person became important later or was important before. Does that make sense? So I'm like
Yeah.
so like I was trying in my head trying to figure out why I'm supposed to care about this Jurian, other than just we're gonna throw some information at you because later this is important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a good analogy or a simile to like to Jurian to like another franchise, like Boba Fett. It's like why is Boba Fett coming up and saying like what does he say as you command or
As
as you
you wish or
wish?
something.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
He doesn't say as you wish, but
right.
okay.
Whatever it is, like he has like a couple lines. Like why is this important? Because he's not actually. Sorry, all you Boba
He's
Fett
just
lovers.
really cool. Hey,
He's
hey.
just really fucking cool. Okay,
He's
I'm not
just
saying
cool. It's
he,
true. No,
but
like he
like, but
shows
look,
up in
he
the
is
holiday special in a cartoon.
right. We were
He
talking about
gets
this before.
three
He's
lines in 22
ins
words, I think. In
insignificant,
yeah.
insignificant.
And we love the
But
man.
we've but it, the but
I've met
everyone's
Boba Fett.
pop
I love Boba Fett.
people popping off about Boba Fett.
Right.
And so what ends up happening?
Don't put disrespect on his name, is all I'm
Look,
saying.
I'm just saying. I think people might read a little too much into the original Boba Fett. I mean, now as of now, there's
Mm-hmm.
he came back, and there's a story. We learned in the other future movies, later movies, we learned more about where it came from and stuff. And it's
Yep.
like, but all that was retconned in, as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So in my head is like, I guess that's what I'm thinking is like, is Jurian like just retconned here? Is this really even important? Do I really need to know about this information? Why he's in a ring and a necklace? Anyway, let's move on because as it turns out,
Yeah, because I can't
yes,
find what
there's
I'm
a
looking
reason.
for. But
Yeah. Sorry, that was a long tangent about some bullshit that
I
doesn't really
mean,
matter. But anyway.
it does, though. It's going to come to matter.
Well,
And
and
that's the
it
problem.
does, yes. Here's in a nutshell, it does actually matter.
Mhm.
When I read it, it did not feel like it mattered at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here we are. Lucian ends up kind of having to disappear
Yeah,
because
basically he asked about Tamlin. And basically he just said, just try not to die for Tamlin's sake, is all Lucian says to her after he fixes her up and then disappears.
it's gone.
Is gone.
And two fairies come in and get Feyre.
Yeah, after she goes, yeah, kind of there's a little more time passes, and then yeah, two fairies come for her.
Hmm. And they take her to the throne room.
Again, back to the throne room.
Back to the throne room. Same scene as before, it
Yep.
would seem, for the most part. Um, and while there, I think what they're trying to get her to tell them who
Her
someone
name.
is. Oh, her name, right.
They don't
Because
have her
they don't
name.
actually know her name. You're right.
Mhm.
Which she resists. She's like, she's not saying. She refuses because I guess at this point she's finally figuring out like, oh, maybe I shouldn't reveal that stuff because magic.
Right. Right.
Even though
Yeah.
up to this
So
point you never thought about that. Anyway, whatever. So now,
they
now
bring
that
in um Rosand.
and
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night and I just realized why I don't know your name. Tell me your name. If you're going to be such close, if we're going to be such good friends
right,
for
I
the
need to
next
know
3 months, I
I
need to know
need to
your
know your
name,
name.
right? I see this is I love her.
Okay, that's fair. It was good. That's
Like
good.
it's just so like can't trust her. Like
Yeah, right, yeah. Well,
but
I
she
think
good. She's a
yeah.
good villain. She's a good villain.
She's but she's very typical. This is
She's
not
very yeah, no, she
it's
is
very
very
typical.
typical.
I like a villain that is atypical, that is an outlier, that is unusual, that is like mm,
Yeah.
maybe even maybe just at first uh, um at first sight,
I
but
think I
then
can forgive that she's such a tropey like villain
because of how well she plays it.
because of how well she writes her and
Yeah.
that there's logical reasons for why she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah.
Like I understand the trauma of her past that has made her into this person that is so cruel and so cold. Like she was already kind of cruel, but she
Yeah.
loved her sister and then she lost the only thing she ever loved.
And then went unhinged.
And yeah, like I
Yeah.
get it. Like it makes sense. There's a
Yeah.
good backstory that makes sense. It's not just bad to break bad, and so I can forgive that she's formulaic or whatever because she writes her so well. With the
She's
come now pet.
yes, she is
You know
definitely
my
that.
name. I
You
should
know
know
me?
yours.
Come
Right.
on.
Like I love this. Like it's very
We're
Cruella Deville.
we're
Like,
pals, me and you.
we're
Like, tell
friends.
me your name.
We're all friends here.
But she doesn't want to. She's refusing.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Um,
yep. Then our favorite character,
Sand.
Rysand.
Sand comes up. Amarantha asks for
Mhm.
him and says, is this the girl you saw?
I suppose.
I all these humans look the same.
Yeah.
Uh, trying to just like play it off.
Humans all look alike to me. I love
Humans all
Rysand
look.
for this.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love this. He's like, but you told me this girl, and points to Claire's corpse.
yeah. Uh-huh.
This is the girl you saw. And she goes, they all look alike to me.
I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you.
Right, right.
Even though we know later because of everything later. We know. And that makes this delicious. It really does.
Yes, yes,
Like
it
I
does.
enjoy this.
No, it is definitely like a moment of just it is Rissand is a
And then
chef kiss.
oh,
Just
he is. Mwah. And even now
yeah.
with Amarantha too, because he sits here and she's like, well, what about fairies? Among a sea of mundane faces,
Uh-huh.
yours is a work of art. Like, oh, he's smooth. Like,
Oh yes.
oh,
Dude rolled high on charisma. It's just
he
like
really did. He is
just
off the
oozing.
charts. It
Yes.
does.
Yeah. So I
And then, yeah, so then she's demanding of him, what is her name? How do I know? She lied to me. Like,
like ah
if, you know, and she's, so again, yeah, back and forth. Lucian is being held captive by the adder now. And basically they want Rasan to invade Lucian's mind.
yeah. For him to do his thing.
Do your thing. Hold his mind, she
Hold
commanded.
hold his mind.
It's way
And
better than off with her head.
If you- yeah, hold his
Hold his
mind.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's way more ominous.
No, no, it's for sure. It's like, it could
What
be
does that
like,
even mean? Are you literally going to hold my
like
brain?
you're just like scooping his brains out and like, this is what you want, Amarantha.
Right.
This is it. Oh, okay, sorry, I'm
Um,
confused. Yeah,
hold,
just like hold his mind.
hold his mind.
And Feyre freaks out because she
Yeah.
remembers like how her sand, his tendrils of
Yes. How that, yeah,
like,
she's remembering what it would
yeah,
felt like.
how what she had done to him,
Hmm.
he had done to her, and how easily it would have been for him to break her, and realizes
Yeah.
like, oh God, he's gonna die. So she blurts out her name,
Yep.
Feyre. My name is Feyre, and
Hmm.
I think Amarantha says something kind of along those lines, along lines of like, good, like thank you, or something
An
like
old
that.
name from our earlier dialects.
Yeah.
Well, I promised you a riddle.
This is when the riddle comes out, right?
Riddles in the dark.
Uh,
Solve this, Feyre, and you and your High Lord and all of his court may immediately leave with my blessing. Let's see if
hmm.
you are indeed clever enough to deserve one of our kind. All right. And so now we're going to read the riddle.
Hmm.
Now, do you remember the riddle? Like the answer
No,
to the riddle?
I remember the answer. I
Okay.
also remember thinking that my answer was better.
Oh, you had a different answer. Okay.
I did.
So then my other question is when you were listening to the book
Uh-huh.
and they read the riddle to you and
Hmm.
she cannot come up with the answer because like spoiler guys, she's not going to
She's
get it in this
and well,
chapter.
and nor does she try. Like she even
No,
says
she
to
really doesn't
herself,
even
she's
try.
like, I need time to think about it because
Yeah.
like if I
I'm
get this
illiterate.
wrong, yeah, I'm illiterate. If I get this wrong, it's
We're
it's
all
all done
dead.
for. Yeah. So
Yeah.
she even, you know,
But when they read the riddle to you, did you have an answer come to your brain immediately?
yes,
Okay.
I did.
Okay. Because so like me.
But I do that with every riddle though, admittedly. And I know
Oh,
like
okay. Okay.
but anyway, go ahead.
No, I was curious because like when I read it, I was like, I literally just kind of glanced right over it. Like I glazed right through it because I was like, it's red, and then she has there's no thought process of her trying to think it out. So I'm
Mhm.
just like, if it's important, they're going to tell me the answer later. Like I'm not going to spend any time on trying
Oh,
to
really?
figure this
No,
further. Yeah.
my mind immediately trying to figure it out. Immediately
See,
like,
and that's
oh,
what
okay, yes.
my
And
friend
like,
Megan is the same way, and she said that was where they lost me in this book because she read it knowing we were doing this.
no, okay.
Um, and she was like, that's where it lost me was that it's like I read the minute I heard that riddle, she's like, I knew immediately what the answer was.
Oh, really? Dang, she must be pretty good.
Oh, she's very good at word games and
Okay, okay.
she's
I was
very like
very
kind of like your wife, pharmacist, very smart.
sure. Okay.
She loves a word game, a puzzle. Puzzles
Yeah.
are her favorite. Like she goes, we've done many an escape room together. She loves a puzzle. Like when we first met, we used to leave her because she was doing overnights while we were converting our Target to CVS. That's where we met.
Oh, okay.
Was we all worked at the Target pharmacy together,
Okay.
and she was the one who got stuck doing the overnights because there has to be a pharmacist in the pharmacy when it's open, even though
Right,
like we
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
serving customers, but there were people in the pharmacy working. There had to be a pharmacist there.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so she was the one who was doing all of those overnight, and so we would leave her after our shift, after we closed the pharmacy for the day, we'd leave her little goodie baskets full of like word puzzles and stuff to keep her busy overnight.
Nice. That's sweet of you. That's
Right, like this is the blossoming and beginning of our friendship. But
uh-huh.
so she loves a puzzle, so for her
Okay. Mhm.
riddle immediately she's like
Okay. All right.
and
All
knew
right.
the answer,
I
and then
admitted
was like pissed.
that she knew the answer.
She didn't know it, that Feyre gave no thought to even try.
Oh. See, in my head, I was like, I know the answer, and I knew it was probably wrong, but
Right.
like, but anyway, we can go ahead and read it if
All
you
right.
want.
You ready for the right riddle?
Yes.
All right. There are those who seek me a lifetime, but never we meet, and those I kiss, but who trample me beneath ungrateful feet. At times I seem to favor the clever and the fair, but I bless all of those who are brave enough to dare. By large, my ministrations are soft handed and sweet, but scorned I become a difficult beast to defeat. For though each of my strikes lands a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow.
So that the last line, I don't think makes sense. It's dumb. No, I don't.
No?
I think up to that point, like I think it's the right answer. The right answer is the one that she gives later. But my head, I'm like killing and doing it slow. Like
What is
okay.
your thought? So after you read the riddle, what was your initial thought?
So I was like, it sounds to me like a flower, like a rose. I thought it was a rose because it's a little too on the nose, but the book is called A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I was like, and if you think
What
about
parts made
roses,
you think of a rose?
trying to find a like a rose, trying to find like a flower, like for someone, trying to find like someone like imagine trying to find like the perfect flower to give to someone to love. It's like trying to find a flower is
Okay.
impossible. Obviously the red again, the red being red is kind of too on the nose for it to be a flower, but I kind of ignored that part.
Right.
Um, and how easily it's trampled
Okay.
if you're not looking for something on the ground, you're gonna walk on it.
Yeah.
Admittedly, if you're not looking for like a flower, it's very easy to walk over something.
Right.
Um, and the last part was like, if you're gonna kill somebody with a rose, it would take a long time because like
Okay, so you just went real
I
literal.
did. I went a little bit. I'm
Okay.
like, if you're gonna, I mean, like, imagine
Because
trying
I'm
to
like
kill
you're
someone with
I'm
thorns and
I'm
roses.
understanding your logic, but I'm like, but explain to me at times I seem to favor the clever and the fair, but I
Uh,
bless all of those who are brave enough to dare. How does that relate to a rose?
now that part I did not. That part I wasn't
Okay.
sure. Like,
Okay. Oh
admittedly,
no,
like, it
that's
was just, yeah, it was like, okay, like, I don't
okay.
know if this is
So
the answer,
do
but
we want to just give the answer now?
I don't really care. No, let's not. Let's
You know
wait.
what we okay, we'll
Let's
just
wait.
gloss over it. We're
Yeah.
gonna mention it. Guys, think on it.
And if you don't know,
This is
tell
honestly,
somebody.
Megan is the only one who comments on our videos at this point. Megan, don't put the answer there.
Don't put the
I'm
answer
talking to
there. And if
you.
somebody else puts the right answer there, don't tell them to
Leave it
put the right answer.
alone.
And if someone puts the wrong answer there, also don't tell them to put the wrong answer or a right answer there.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, just don't comment. Wait,
Megan,
no.
just don't.
Definitely
No, but
comment.
please comment, but don't comment about the riddle, Megan.
Yes. Just yes to all, please.
Yeah, right. So and
Yes.
Feyre is stunned, stupid. She's like, I blinked and she repeated her smells. Like, what?
Like, oh God. I'm
Uh-huh.
surprised she remembers it, to be
Yeah.
honest. Because like I that's what I tried doing is later in the chapter when she was like thinking about it. I'm like, can I remember that? And I no, I could not remember any of it.
Yeah. The answer was
Um,
so close. One little answer, and we could all be free.
I do not agree that the answer is the right answer, specifically because of the last line.
See, and this is I want to say the answer because I want to argue this.
We can do it. We'll argue it when the answer comes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do the arguments
Yeah,
then. Because it's getting late anyway, so
it is. But it was no, it makes sense.
yeah. If you say so.
I do.
All right, all right, all right. All right.
So
She gets the riddle
hits the riddle. Amarantha tells
and
her, think on it. When it comes to you, I'll be waiting. And
mm-hmm.
they send her back to her cell. She thinks
And
2 days passes. She think or at least that's what she thinks based off of her meal pattern. Um, but she gets this half moldy food all the time.
yeah.
And she's like, I had little to do other than ponder the riddle. And the more I thought about it, the less sense it made. She thinks about poisons and venomous animals and that nothing came to her, not to mention the nagging feeling that she might have wound up tricking me with this bargain when she emphasized immediately regarding the riddle. Maybe she
Huh.
meant she would not free us immediately after I finished her trials. That she could take she could take however long she wanted. No, she's like, I was just being paranoid. So she's just overthinking. She's in her spiral.
No, she's not, but like she's overthinking now that it's too late. Like
She's
it's so
overthinking everything
sure, yeah, yeah. I mean,
but what she needs to be thinking about.
well, I mean, at this point, she, I mean, in Farah's defense of this, like, if someone's saying, like, saying to me, you have to figure out this riddle or else people are dying, it's like,
Mhm.
but guess what? You got time. I might be thinking on it for a little bit. I'm not just going to get my answer right away because usually my first instincts, as we're finding out, are wrong. Like, so, like, I am going to think on it. I will say though, I did not think that the answer. was going to be what it was because thought it was I thought it was dumb. Because I was
So
like,
Taylor
they would
starts
never
having
do that.
dream
They would never do
nightmares
that. Does that happen?
because of
Okay.
this. Because she's
Yeah.
sitting here overthinking about everything
Right.
and the riddle and everything. She's having nightmares
Uh-huh.
and very restless dreams where she was trapped within the crystal ring. She's forever silent, forced to witness their bloodthirsty, cruel world, cleaved from everything I'd ever loved. And then one day, the door opens and a guard appears telling her the full moon had risen.
You guys know what
That's where
that
we are going to end it
means.
because we'll do
That,
the first trial next.
yes. Um,
Yeah.
Continue that suspension of disbelief
Oh,
because
oh no, this is when it gets really fun because I love the first trial.
yeah, no, it's
I
cool.
love it.
It's good. It's just like
It's
I
Alaskan bullworm.
Alaskan bullworm?
Yeah, Google it. You don't know SpongeBob?
No, no, I don't. I never
Well,
watched.
that's an image that I will leave you with because that's what I my friend said it, and it's exactly what I think about now when I really think about the first trial is the Alaskan bullworm.
Interesting.
Google it right now.
So I was thinking, I can't actually. You have to give me a minute. My computer's
Being
a piece of
slow.
crap. That's yeah. Alaskan
Mhm.
Alaskan sandworm?
Bullworm
Bullworm, my bad.
in the SpongeBob.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay.
That's what's coming.
I was thinking more along the lines of like
The vagina worms from Dune.
that or like uh, Tremors
Okay, yeah.
or what was that one movie about Thresh? No. It's like about of like a time-eating worm or like a worm that comes to eat existence when time gets like crazy. What is that
What?
movie called? I never actually saw it, but it's
I'm thinking like sandworms from Beetlejuice.
Beetle, that's a good one.
You know,
Oh,
or
this
in
is
Dune.
sandworm size chart. Okay.
There's a size chart.
Snarlack. I'm
Oh,
sorry, Sarlacc
the
from
Sarlacc pit.
uh-huh, which is smaller than the graboid from Tremors,
It is not.
according to this,
They're wrong
which is smaller than
because
the
Boba Fett lived in its stomach for all of those years.
sure the thing with the acid stomach that eats people alive. That
But he didn't live there all those years. He busted out pretty quickly, but he
uh,
was in his
sure Mandalorian
intestinal
armor.
system. Like if he could swallow a whole man, come on.
Just
I
saying
do not
they're
think
saying
the
the
graboids were.
Tremoids and they said the I mean I should just show the image, but
I kind of want to see. I want you to send
the
it to
be
me.
hold on. Um, are you going to do it? Okay, let me see if I can just
Is
let me
this
see if
the
I can.
one?
Yeah, that's the one. There you go.
Okay.
Man,
I
what is
mean,
that one? Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's another movie where like there's another worm. That's all we need to know. It doesn't matter.
I need to. I'm Googling. I'm putting those words together and seeing what Google spits out.
Which ones? Because I've been rambling for like 5 minutes.
Time eating worm movie.
So, so technically the worm didn't eat time. It was about like time stopping worm eating
Time worm.
movie. Um,
Time trap.
no. I don't know if it's about time stopping or like people like accidentally messing with the flow of time. Movie about this is stupid. This is the dumbest thing ever. Movie about
It is.
Time distortion. Worm eating. Damn, no, it's not
No,
it. I thought that would be it.
sci-fi worm movies.
I think it was, I don't know if it was necessarily a worm, but it was like something similar. I was it was like Thresher or like,
Squirm?
I don't think it
Worm.
was, I don't think it was Squirm Worm. I don't,
No, squirm and then worm. Two separate.
um, Mongolia. Yeah, no, I can't remember.
This is gonna. If you guys know what Ben is talking about, please tell me.
I never actually saw the movie, so I could be way off base, but I remember that
I
being
saw the
something
trailer. Do you
I
remember
saw.
when the trailer was out?
No, no. It was a
This is
movie.
such a core memory for you.
It was important. I don't even know why I know about it, but yeah, anyway. I'll when I find out, I will bring it. I'll
Please bring it to the table. I can't wait.
comment. I'll put a comment in there or let us know next episode
Yeah, I would like to know because the next one, first trial, and obviously, guys, it's going to involve a worm. So we will talk about the worm next
with
time.
worm. Yeah,
Worm. How many times can we say the word worm? Is it just
worm.
a sound now? It's just a sound. It's lost all meaning.
Earthworm. That's what I actually pictured it to be was an earthworm. Just a big
No.
earthworm.
No.
Kind of boring, but it's kind of like, anyway.
No, I was definitely leaning more like Tremors when I
Okay.
first was reading it, but then after my friend said it's Alaskan bullworm, that's the image in my brain now. I've
Okay.
replaced. I thought that was an upgrade.
Yeah, no. All right, I guess that's gonna do it for us. Get us out of here.
Let's go. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Maybe with a full episode, maybe with something supplemental. We don't know. We'll see. We're still figuring it out, guys. Like, subscribe, check us out
Share.
on Goodreads.
Make sure to
Um,
share. Yeah, I updated my something on Goodreads. I don't know if I did it right.
I'll check. I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yep. And then
Mhm.
Instagram at Seasoned Readings, TikTok at Seasoned Readings,
YouTube.
YouTube. Obviously, that's where you are,
Mhm.
at least
In
right now.
case you didn't
Well, we're
know.
figuring out other platforms for you people.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys next week with something worm related. I should make dirt cups and we should record in person.
Bye.
Bye.
Marshmallows.